Welcome back into another Dragon Ball Super Card Game Masters video. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right. So it's been a while since I made a deck profile for Dragon Ball, and that's for good reason, because Fusion World is coming out, and with that, and with the constant stuff in all of the cards that are coming out, it's really hard to keep up with Dragon Ball. And there's just simply too much. There's a lot of new archetypes now. There are a lot of text on those archetypes, and you can't just skim it and think you know everything. You have to commit that time, and as well as put in the testing. While I have been live a little bit on Twitch and intend to do it every so often, with Untapped really the only way to do it outside of bringing someone over or going to locals or something, I want to make sure that the decks that I do put out are playable. One of those has just got some new support. Super Saiyan 4 Bardock from another anniversary set, right? I'm pretty sure it's another expansion that came out, and it was a whole full-blown deck basically, at least almost. And I think it was pretty good for what it was when it came out, and got, you know, slight support in SS4, as it pretty much gets support anytime there is something that's printed with SS4. And being a rainbow deck, you can pretty much put anything that you want in it anyway. Now with this anniversary set, it definitely became very apparent that they want to support this in a strong way. Now, before we get into the support, I think this deck is pretty cool. I think if you want to play something that goes a little wide and continuously play off each other and combo off each other, basically doing one thing and you get something out of it, which a lot of Dragon Ball right now is like that, and you want to play a thematic deck that features Super Saiyan 4, then this is the deck for you. It also has the option, like I said, being rainbow and having every single color, that you can pretty much put whatever you want. And I know I'm a little late with it. It was recently released a couple weeks ago, and if anything, let's go over the support anyway. First one up is going to be this Super Saiyan 4 Bardock Prismatic Radiance, and it's a 5K. Which is fine. Most of the 2-cost SS4 cards are like that, and they're free or 0/5s in your leader anyway. This guy has barrier, and basically what it says is that if you have 4 or more, a total of 4, it's not even more, it's a total of 4 non-black colors, which I think is the max anyway, right? And you send the secret rare, which is the Familiar Saiyans, from your hand to your warp. You place this card into your drop. You can activate the Activate Main skill on the card you sent to your warp by this skill, and add that card to your hand at the end of the turn. So basically what it's saying is that you get to use the Activate Main of Vermilion Saiyans, which says, if your opponent has 4 or more energy, you play up to 4 black multicolored battle cards with different names and energy cost of 2 from your deck, and then shuffle your deck, which basically any of your Bardock, your Gohans, your Gokus, your Vegetas, the red, blue, yellow, and green ones that are listed here are played out for free. Well, I mean, you pay the 2 costs anyway first. But the nuts part of this is that you get it back at the end of the turn to use it as a counterattack, which is just nuts. That counterattack is nuts. It's just, since you have that 4, when you do this, you get to use it and then warp up to that amount, and then have that 5k boost per time or per thing that you warped, which is, again, nuts. Now, the other Activate Main is not too bad, and actually works out pretty well if you want to take game, or if you want to put some aggression on, whatever it may be, is that you switch this to rest mode, which you can't give it to yourself, obviously, or to itself. You choose up to 1 battle card with Super Saiyan 4 in its card name, and give it dual attack for the duration of the turn, which is pretty good. I mean, there's some cool targets. Obviously, any of your 30Ks that are Super Saiyan 4, or any of the boys that have double strike or can gain double strike would be good too. But because it's only battle cards, I think the best one that you could use is going to be the 8-cost anyway. So this is Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta Radiant Fusion, and this is a 3-cost 1 Z energy from your Z deck, obviously battle card that has deflect and has 16k, and if you have 3 or more non-black colors in your black multicolored cards in your energy, reduce this card in your Z deck by 1 green, which basically means that you can pay any black for 2 energy. You pay 2 energy, 1 basically black, which is going to be any of your energy if you're charging them anyway, and then 1 Z energy, and then you get to play it and then KO something 3 costs or less, ignoring barrier, which is nice. And then leader, if your leader is Bardock, which is gonna be, you remove this card from the game, and then during that turn, the next time you activate main of your Gogeta Xeno, that is mono black, energy cost of 10, or multicolor, the one that we just mentioned, you reduce the color or the cost of it by 3. So what this means is that the multicolored aid cost card that you pay 3 and minus 30k for 2 things, warp a card, all that other stuff, now becomes free, which is nuts. I'm gonna keep saying that. It is actually kind of crazy. They're just like, they keep printing stuff like this. It's just funny. And the 10 cost now becomes a 2 cost basically, because I think what happens here is that you can just keep this on board and hopefully it doesn't die, and then later in the game you can pay 2 to activate that 10 drop and get all of the effects that you want. Of course, this effectively becomes a 4 cost play if you want to play the 10 drop, which is not too bad, because I think, you know, if you want to burn a life, or if you want to draw cards, if you want to do whatever, if you just want to have a big body on board and then untap energy because you're a leader afterwards, you can do that as well. I think allowing yourself to have something that has burn on a stick at any time is pretty good. Plus this, again, has deflect. The only time that they can really get around it is if they freeze a counterplay, or if they do something else that's kind of ridiculous, like what's the one card, the sin blocker that can use its auto against it. Now these other 2 cards kind of go hand in hand. They are the prismatic radiance Vegeta and Goku, which I guess you can make Gogeta out of them. The Goku gets reduced by 1 yellow, so you can play it for 1 black if you really wanted to, and you can look at the top 5 and then grab an SS4 with a card name of SS4 and whatever from it and add it to your hand. And then activate main if there is 2 or more non-black colors. Basically, if you have 2 colors that aren't black, or are black multicolored, I guess, you get to play it 1 black multicolored battle card, energy cost of 3, in rest mode from your hand. So you return it back to your hand, this card, you can swing with it, return it back, and then play a 3 cost, rest it in your hand, and then basically have the option of letting it sit there, because most of them are 16Ks, and most of the time that you're really just not going to do anything, or they're not going to swing at it because it's just harder to combo out of it or combo into it, I guess. Or you can pay 1 black for those 3 costs and then play another 2 costs and just do it that way. It is nice just to have that free swing and just go back to your hand as combo power anyway. Now the Vegeta is really cool too, because they play into each other, which if you have 2 or less non-black colors present in among your energy, this card gains 6k or minus 6k, which means is a 10k before turn 3, I guess. I don't know. And the auto is that if you play from your hand, you draw 1, which is good, and then play up to 1 multicolored battle card, energy cost of 2 from your hand. So you can play this to search, or you can play any of the other 2 costs and then get those effects as well. If you have 4 more energy or 4 more colors in your energy, which kind of plays into where you want to be in the deck anyway, you add it to 1 of your energy or to your hand. If you do, add 1 card from your hand to your energy, which basically means is that this is 1 cost, and also you can manipulate pretty much anything that you want from your hand into your energy. This doesn't come into rested, it comes into active, and you get those effects anyway as well. So you can play like the Vegeta that makes them bottom deck a card. You can do any of the other effects, like the green effects to remove counters, or the yellow effects to get something skillless, that type of thing. So there's a lot of things, a lot of cool things that play into each other, and I think this these 2 cards are awesome support just in general for searchability and as well as just utility. Okay, here is the full deck, and as you can see, I have a good amount of 1-ofs, not including the secret, but it just became a thing where, since now we have more support in the black yellow card here, and as well as the black blue here, you can kind of reduce some of the multicolors. Obviously, I don't really want to charge these guys. I want to play them, which is why I still included these, and as well as the other yellow cards. But there's not really too many options in yellow in general for this deck. But I think overall you're playing pretty much all the cards that you want to play, right? You're playing everything from your quote-unquote floodgate to your petrification to your Super Saiyan Force super combos, the Super Saiyan Force calls, which I'm in between sometimes. Sometimes this doesn't feel good, but it is a searcher, and when you need the extra color or the color in general to get on your field or into your energy to awaken, or just in general to get to like some of these effects like the restanding effect, or not the 8 cost but the 10 drop, things like that. Those are things that are super important. So that way you search everything. And this being 55 cards, you still are searching through the deck quite a lot. You know, I think overall it's what you need in general. You know, you want all the options that you want, or all the options you can get a hold of, and as well as all the options to search for it. But of course, you play 8 of the 8 costs, 4 of the 8 costs, being effectively a 0-10. Another super combo is just ridiculous. Plus the effect is ridiculous. And just in general, being at 25k on your turn after having 4 or 3 energy, well, 2 energy that are different colors is really good. We do have one of the Beyond All Limits, and as well as the Heated Fighting Spirit. These guys can be played for free as a 30k and are searchable. So like you can overwhelm for 6 if you really wanted to, or what you could do is just combo this guy out and then later on overwhelm into Beyond All Limits, and then grab the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and then play the Activate main afterwards. So that's usually what I do. This is really going to be like, these 3 are really going to be the buddies of each other, right? There are other options like these 3 costs that are searchable along with these guys too, but more often than not, you're just going to be focusing on the trio here. And of course, the 8 drop is very situational. So like if you really don't have any better play and you need to not only start poking at your opponent and as well as clearing their board, this is going to be a good way to do it, because while it doesn't have deflect, there's only a couple of things that are kind of annoying. Like yellow's annoying against this deck, red is kind of annoying against this deck. You know, going against cooler is super annoying, especially with the new support. Those are all very annoying. So you just have to, you know, pick and choose what you want to do. And this is one of those cards that kind of does that. It's very situational. As far as the Z deck, you can play more than 3 technically of these guys, but I think 3 is enough. You're only going to be resolving it 1 or 2 times anyway. This guy is pretty awesome because like if you're not going to be overwhelming in general, you can use that Activate main as well. And then Boo is also just a great card to have as a generic black supported Z deck card basically. Now the starter deck is just other considerations. So like Senzu Bean is still really good. You can throw in 2, 3, 4 of them and still be okay. It's just that this deck is pretty hefty as it is. So to sacrifice some of the consistency and as well as searchability and as well as the colors in it for Senzu Bean, I don't know if it's like the best choice. But you know, that's up to you. Protective of the People is also a good defensive option, especially in going to sides or pre-side. Same thing for Super Kamehameha and as well as Secret Identity. I love the art on this and as well as the card in general, knowing that you can drop 3 of your Z Black Energy, give something 10k for the battle, and then warp something like a blocker or something like that. Anything that is problematic is not too bad. Just overall, it's a kind of cool card. I didn't really find it in this deck though for now. And then Oolong, you can just manipulate yourself into using the 35k, 30k, whatever it may be. The 30k here that you can pay for free if you really wanted to, and then swing again with Oolong, since you're gonna have that yellow energy. And again, any of the 1 cost plays that you do here is just gonna get untapped by your leader. So pretty cool. All right, that is it. I think I spoke enough. I want to play this deck more, but there are so many other decks that are coming out for set 22, and then now the set 23 spoilers are coming out. So I kind of want to build out Zamasu and see how that is. It looks kind of convoluted, but if you have any ideas in the comments, if you really do want Dragon Ball content, like, you have to tell me. You know, that's the thing. Like, me to you, whoever's watching this still, you have to be in the comments and tell me things. Tell me that you want discussions about Dragon Ball or deck profiles or whatever. You know, if that's radio silent, then I'm just going to do whatever I want. That's just how it is. Subscribe if you're new. Like, dislike, all that. I'll see you in the next one.